recognize myself for 5 minutes. Mr. Marinos, you're the Director of Information Technology and Cybersecurity for the
Yes,
Census.
sir.
Is that correct? I noticed from the GAO report a couple of things. One is they're saying that this will be the first census where the Internet shall be the preferred mode of communication and participation. And yet, further down on the report, it says that we still have significant problems with cybersecurity within the census system. Is that correct?
Yeah, more generally, I think what we're concerned about is that we have a census that's going to be relying on technology, including internet response, at a time when cyber threats are very high.
Right. So let me ask you, so the other hat I wear on another committee is actually on fintech, and we look a lot at blockchain applications. Is this the type of system, and I know that blockchain is used extensively on databases and registries in other countries. Is this the type, are we looking at anything like that where we can use a more secure system, a distributed system, one that is less vulnerable in terms of where the census is going?
With respect to the 2020 census, I'm not aware that blockchain was explored as a possibility. It's entirely possible that, in the lead up to the next decennial, that may be an option for the Bureau to consider.
Well, by this is a every 10-year process, correct. So you would think by 2030, but I mean that the time to start, right, would be now.
Yeah, in fact, in reality, the internet response capability was earlier tested, and considered in the early part of this decade as well. So in reality, the Bureau is already pursuing and making plans for 2030, and GAO itself will turn its eyes that direction as well to see what sort of planning is taking place within the next year.
Yeah, I know there are, at least today, some privacy issues because the blockchain is it's transparent, it's public. But I also know that there are permissioned blockchains where trusted parties have access, and that encryption allows us to use pseudonymous or anonymous representations. But given the uses that we're applying the census data to, for federal funding, number of congressional seats, that's all data that gives people in this country an actual identity. And there's a lot at stake here, and I just hope that, in your position, you might be the person to drive that process, to actually begin, obviously we can order a study, we can order the census to undertake a review of blockchain viability within the census. I'm sure my colleagues and I could put something together on both sides of the aisle, but it would be prudent, I think, to take the initiative on your part to explore some of these possibilities.
Yes, sir. There are essentially two things that GAO is doing right now. One, we are monitoring, as you see from our report issued today, on what's taking place right now in the preparation for the 2020 census. Having said that, at your initiative, we're looking at issues like privacy. We're looking at the extent to which the Bureau is anticipating, once it collects the information, how it's going to protect it. And it's entirely up to the Congress to certainly ask us to look at issues like exploring what are possible technologies that could be explored for the future, for 2030 as well. And we'd be happy to entertain that.
Thank you. It is tamper-proof. It's been proven to be tamper-proof, and there's an immutability aspect that is very strong. I do realize there's some weaknesses on privacy right now, although there are a lot of really smart people working on that issue. We've got some scalability issues, but the fact that this is this is a decennial census, it would appear to be something that would lend itself to that type of process. I know some other countries are looking at that as well. My time has almost expired. The chair now, I will yield, and the chair now recognizes the gentleman from Missouri, Mr. Clay, for 5 minutes.